Hi everyone, it's Patricia. Today I want to share two dress form pincushions that I created. First I'm going to start off with the small one. To create the small one, I used a Kaisercraft wood dress form and it came in this pack right here. So I used this one right here that's closed off, if you guys could see the design, the shape to it. This one has the cuts open, but the other dress form that was in this pack is just the plain solid wood. So I used that one because I really like the shape to start off with. So I used the dress form. And so I first painted the dress form with the black paint, and then I went over with some antique linen paint just to give me a distressed look all over the wood. And I really like how the finish came off on the wood part. So I did the front and back of the whole dress form. And then after that I used Making Memories rosette trim. I sewed each rosette trim together with some thread, and I still noticed it after I put it around. Before me closing it, I still noticed that I could kind of see through still. So I went over again with a second rosette trim all the way around, just to cover all the little cracks like that the stuffing wouldn't come through. And the stuffing that I used last month when we went to IKEA, I had bought extra pillows just to use it for stuffing, because they have really nice size pillows there, and the stuffing usually is very expensive at certain places, craft stores. So I decided to just buy pillows, and I'll just cut them open and use them instead for stuffing. And that's a good way to use stuffing from your pillows that you could purchase at IKEA, and also other stores that have them very cheap too. So I used stuffing from a pillow that I purchased at IKEA. And around the waist, I sewed everything together, but then around the waist I tied it with some beige crochet trim, and then I also glued it afterwards just to make sure it's really tight there and wouldn't budge the trim, the lace trim there. And then to close it off in the back after I made the bow, I used this cameo setting right here that it came in the bow bunny trinket package. And then on top of that I used a glitz giant rhinestone, and it came in this pack right here. So I used that for the center right there. And then also for the front of the dress form, first I used some Iron Roses flowers, and then I also used some Prima flowers as well. And after I added the flowers, I added some birds from Studio Calico on top of this leaf cream trim right here on the bottom, if you guys could see. Over here I added another Prima flower, and then I decided to dangle some charms on the side of the dress form. I added this gold leaf charm pendant here, and then also this crochet doily from Prima. I added this bow bunny trinket right here. And then I also add this bow bunny trinket, this metal trinket, but then on top of it I glued a resin flower piece there. And then I also added this coin that I purchased a while back from Oriental Trading, and it's double-sided, and all of the charms are hanging by some wire. So I add that there, and I think it really came out really cute on the side. And for the banner, I freehand cut canvas triangles by hand, and I just roughed out the edges with a scissor just to give me more of a rough look. And then I went with Lindy's Starburst stains, the Bayou Boogie Gold. I sprayed it over the canvas just to give me more of a vintage look to it. And then I just stamped with some alphas with Stays On black ink art on there. And that's pretty much it for this pincushion dress form. And I really like how that turned out. It's really, really beautiful. It's very simple, very elegant, very classy. I'm really happy how this one turned out. So this is the small dress form pincushion. And this is the large dress form pincushion that I made also. First, let me show you guys what I used to make that. I used the large mannequin from Kaisercraft. And this is the same one that I used. I just had an extra one. And it's really beautiful. I definitely have to go back to joanns.com and check if they have any more. This is really precious. Can't wait to use this one too. And this is what it looks like. I did the same technique. I painted the whole thing with black paint first. And then I went in with antique linen and I gave the kind of a wash over it, if you guys could see again, just to give me a vintage tone to it. And then for the whole dress form, I used, instead of the cream one that I used on the small one, I used the baby pink Making Memories trim, the rosette trim, for the whole dress form. And the top of the dress form, the top I stitched it together by hand, and I glued it down to the top of the dress form. And I didn't put any stuffing on the top part, but the rosette trim, since it has a couple layers of the trim, it's still puffy enough that I could put stick pins if I want to. And I really like that. For the bottom of the dress form, I did the same thing again. I sewed each rosette trim together. I measured the dress form first to see how many rows of flowers I needed. And then I gave the second trim all the way around the whole bottom base, just to be puffy, and I couldn't see the stuffing inside of the dress form. I'm really happy how the base turned out too. And I also made some stick pins just to go on the side of the dress form for now. And these are really adorable. They kind of look like cupcakes, super cute. So I stitched the whole thing. For the waist of the dress form, I did the same thing. I put some crochet trim, lace trim all the way around, and then I made the bow, and I tightened it really tight, and then I glued this cameo setting that I purchased from your scrapbook supply. And again, I put the glitz, the giant rhinestone, the pretty in pink little charm there that I added it to the center of the cameo setting. And then I glued it to the brown crochet trim there. Super beautiful. On front of the dress form, I used this Prima jean flower right here. And it already comes like this with the charms and the little locket right there. And then I just put some rope twine also around the dress form. And I glued these Studio Calico little birds with birds there, and I just distressed it with some alcohol inks from Ranger in 2 tones. And then again, I just add some more trinkets here. I had this beautiful metal trinket from Prima that is distressed it with a couple alcohol inks and some vintage photo by Tim Holtz. I really like how the bird cage turned out. Really, really cute. I love all the tones on there. It really looks vintagey. And over here on the bottom, I use this paper from Kaisercraft, and it's from These Days, this pack right here. And I stamped this bird from Glitz, the Scarlet. So I stamped it on the center of the frame, the paper frame right there. And I made sure I put tape around it so when I stamped it, it wouldn't go on this wood part right here, on the paper on the outside. Then in the back, I just distressed it with some inks and also vintage photo distress ink from Tim Holtz. On top of that, there's another cameo setting that I used another rhinestone from Glitz right here. It also came from this pack from Glitz. So I used that. And then dangling from the cameo setting with the Glitz rhinestone, I put this charm right here. And it's super beautiful. I really like the vintage effect that it gives to the dress form. And then on top of that, I add this bird cage with a bird charm. And then next to that, I use the paper from Kaisercraft from These Days also. And the stamp that I used to stamp that is from Crafty Secrets, and it's from the stamp. So I use that bird right here. And the stamp is called The Altered Art, small. And it's really beautiful. I really like all the images that comes in this pack. Over that, there's the rope twine with another resin flower, and also this bird right here. And then I used again the canvases that I cut out by hand. And the alphas are by Graph 45, the stamp alphas. And I just stamped that using the Stays On, black Stays On. And I also, on this one, I stitched it all the way around just to give me a different look from the other one. And I really like how that turned out too. I'm really happy how both of these dress forms turn out. And these are the 2 projects that I wanted to show you guys. I really hope you guys like the 2 dress form pincushions that I made. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, for leaving me beautiful comments, and as always guys, happy scrapping. Bye guys.